All right, guys, welcome back to Sasquatch Gaming, and I'm your host, Kryman. So, we're here to discuss Grinding Gear Games' new game, POE 2, and we're going to cover the likes, perceived issues slash opportunities for improvement, and the unbalanced gameplay that I have found. So, let's get into it. So, the history that I have in POE 2 is that I have a level 18 warrior in Act 1, and I will say it's difficult being a warrior, seeing that you have to be up close and personal and when you're battling. Um, so, and all of the damage done to you is when you're close by. The on death effects happened on the corpses, and when you kill something with a warrior, you're on the corpses. But compared to other classes, it seems to be a little bit harder than most. But I still have fun, and because I like a challenge. So I also have a level 34 mercenary slash wish hunter because I have ascended, and that's at the end of Act 2. And I'm loving that. Um, I like that everything is much faster. My movement speed, I have plus 15% movement speed on my boots, and that is grand. And but even with the plus 15 movement speed on my warrior, it's still slower than can be. So I like it, um, and it's great. I'm really enjoying the gameplay as a mercenary, and so now let's get into the things that I like. So the things that I like about PoE 2 is A, I love the game. It's great. Um, it's kept me engaged. I've enjoyed my time playing, and so it's hard, which is good. If it was simple and easy, it would not be fun to play. So the campaign is interesting. I'm almost complete with Act 2. So up to this point, it's been engaging and enjoyable. However, there is some confusion when I was going through Act 2 of where I needed to go. I follow the quest lines, but still, sometimes it can be a bit confusing where I need to go. But that's a side note. But the game is enjoyable overall. And every class and weapon plays completely different, and this is an amazing accomplishment. That by itself makes this game stand out from almost all ARPGs that are out there. So that is great. Um, the battling is great. The way you can move around, um, the WASD is an improvement. I had some difficulty when I first started. I switched to controller. I've went back to WASD and then back to controller. I do like it a little bit better on controller, but I actually have no problems with WASD, so that is great. Um, the game is beautiful. I mean, the mobs are awesome. The surrounding and atmosphere is great. And so the bosses are amazing looking. These are just grand things. The art, sound, the scenery, everything, that's amazing. And loving the combat. But more on that later. So, now let's go into some of the things that I think are dislikes or opportunities for improvement, because maybe this is their grand scheme for the game, so I can't say for sure. So, or maybe that's why we're in early access, to find these things and bring it to their attention so they can help improve it. So let's go over a few of these. So um, I mean, as you can see, I've got, nearly 50 plus levels that I've played in this game, so I have a fair bit of experience. And the first thing is I've found 5 legendary items in this time. So in 50 levels, finding 5, so that gives you about 1 every 10 levels or so. Which, okay, if the rarity of them is supposed to be that high, okay. However, all the stats that I've found on the 5 legendaries have been crap. So I have not found that I've been able to use any of them to this point. So that is an interesting concept. And maybe that's their plan, that legendaries just don't do it for you. Or maybe endgame they're more applicable. I'm not sure. But, I mean, they are not the easiest thing to work with so far that I've found. So, also, let's see. Let me move my camera a little bit. I was a little bit off-centered. So, then, the most impossible to find relevant gear. That's what I've found the biggest thing is I pick up every item that's not white, and finding good stats is very, very difficult to me. So I'm not exactly sure why that is the plan, but I mean, and then if I do find gear that has stats that I think is applicable and easy to use, then the stat requirements for something else, that I need to get in the tree is not something I've acquired yet. So I will find a piece of gear and it has the things that I want on it, but the requirements for me to equip that gear, I haven't earned that. And by the time I have earned the required stats in my tree to equip the gear, then I found something else that has better stats, but again, I'm in a deficit to wear it. And so maybe that's just my inexperience. Maybe that's that I haven't found, been lucky. I'm not sure. Maybe it's an RNG thing or what. But I mean, the amount of limited use that I've found for the gear that I have found with good stats is pretty rare. So, and then that gets me into having to have rarity equipped on your gear. So sometimes you have to give up other stats in order to equip rarity gear because it seems like it's a must at this point. There's several times that I've found that, if I don't equip enough rarity, then I can't find anything that's really worth me using. So I found that equipping rarity is a must. So I think that the after death effects are brutal. So I have no problem with after death effects if they're well telegraphed so you know it's going to happen. So especially when I was playing the warrior, so I would kill something and I would feel good about it, and then all of a sudden I'd end up dying or lose 90% of my health, and I'm like, and then you see the after death effect. So I don't think they're telegraphed very well, and that seems to be an issue to me. If you want to have after death effects, that's great, but I should know that it's coming and have the opportunity to get away. So if I am not giving, if there's, like in POE 1, there were those bloated guys, and when they died, they would expand, and then erupt. But you could see for like 2.5, 3 seconds as they expanded that they're about to erupt. That gives you the opportunity and the signal to, hey, get out of the way. It's coming. And if you didn't and you died, well, then that's your own fault. But if there's nothing to say, here's an after death effect, and boom, there it is. That seems pretty brutal or harsh. The other thing is like, okay, so you wait 3 to 5 seconds after you kill something before you walk up to pick up the loot. Okay, great. And then as soon as you go to pick up the loot, boom, after death effect, and it kills you. That hurts. And if that's not enjoyable for me, I can't imagine that it would be enjoyable for many others. So under that consideration, that's one thing we have to keep in mind. So I just don't like it. If you want to have it, then they should be telegraphed well. And so I'll get off that high horse. That's just one of the things that really bugs me. And then, and it's even worse on the warrior, because the warrior, the after death effects happen on the corpse themselves. And with the warrior, you're up close and personal. Literally, you're standing on the corpse usually when you kill something. And then, boom, you get an after death effect. You're not going to be anywhere else. Now, it's less of an issue when I'm playing my other character, because I'm a mercenary, I'm ranged, I can shoot from a distance, so I may not be directly on the corpse. So that helps a lot. But as a mercenary, it is savage. Okay. What do you guys think about the after death effects? Leave a message down in the comments, because I'm curious what you guys think. So, and then crafting. Let's get into that. So it's very RNG. So if you watched all the announcements that GGG Games had prior, they were like, we want you to be able to pick up white loot and craft it and make it into something great that you can wear. Well, I have tried that over and over and over again, and with the amount that I receive of currency that I can use to upgrade those items, I've burned through so much of it attempting to try and get a great item, and I have yet to find one white item that I've turned into something that's actually usable for my characters. So again, maybe that's RNG and I just haven't been lucky enough to find it, or is it really difficult to find and slightly unbalanced? I'm not sure. So we'll have to see. I am sure that it's going to get buffed or adjusted most likely in the end, because I can't be the only one that has difficulty with this. The Trial of Sekima. Okay. I understand ascendancy is important, and it's mandatory, but it seems like an unfair chore. So the traps and everything in there, it's doable, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't fun. So it was a little confusing, and I found it more of a chore than a fun portion of the game. I really loved the game, but I did not really like the Trial of Sekima. So, and the honor resistance at this, when you first start, you have none. So it's very, I can't even imagine trying to accomplish it with my warrior, because even with the 15% movement speed boots, I don't think he's fast enough to actually pull it off. So I haven't got there with him. I'm a little bit slower moving when it comes to hint, slower moving, but leveling that character due to the difficulty I've had with him. So I think that we'll see when I get there, but I feel like it's going to be nearly impossible as a melee character, because you have to be right up on top of everything, and and that's where you're going to take the most damage, and that will definitely affect your honor. So I feel like that's going to be quite hard. The unbalanced RNG stats on some rare monsters. Okay, so if we're going to get into that, I have a video here. It's 17 minutes long. It's in Act 2. If you see what's playing currently, that's me on my way up to that. And as you can see, I've been fighting and I'm not dying and I'm surviving, and I'm only a couple levels above this area. Um, so uh, the level of this area for mobs is supposed to be level 28. I went into it at level 30. By the time I get to this boss battle, I don't even know if it's a boss. It's really just a rare, I believe. I'm level 31. And so I'm only 3 levels above the area. But if you see all of the combat I've had so far, I mean, I'm defensive a little. I'm backing up, of course, but I'm taking down these mobs without too much difficulty. So that's all great and wonderful. So now I'm going to switch over to the other combat here. So here, as you can see, I'm going into fight these 2 birds. And they're much faster than me, even with my level 15, or I mean my plus 15 movement speed. So I'm running, trying to stay alive. When they hit me, they take 3/4 of my life away sometimes. Right there, you see half my life gone. So the one has, if you look at his stats, he's got magma barrier and regen life. So I fight this guy non-stop. So I'm trying to take down their life by just throwing grenades and trying to stay out of their attack, because they're faster than me. He's jumping all the way across the screen. And as you can see, I'm hitting the Stormcaller, right? And he's taking some damage. But if you look at the other guy, he's taking literally no damage to this point. So I'm like, okay, well, I'll just keep circling around in this small little arena and try and take him down. And I'm trying to keep my distance because they take a lot of my life away. So I'm spinning and dropping grenades. And so, as you can see, for literally 5 straight minutes, I'm spinning around, and the one is slowly, his life is going down, and the other bird has taken literally 0 damage to this point because of his regen. So I feel this is a little unbalanced, but I'm not disheartened. I decide I'll just keep going at it. And so you see, the one bird's down to half the life, and the other one is completely still full health. Now I've switched through some different weapons here, as you can see. I've done grenades, and I'm just, everything else seems to be too slow to actually do much damage. So I go back to grenades, and I'm doing lightning damage with my grenades, but so I'm continuing to fight. I'm rolling, and I'm actually making some progress on the one bird. So that's good. Oh, look, they actually hit me. Took 3/4 of my life, so I'm rolling, just trying to stay alive. So, and I know this takes a while. You would think that a non-main boss battle and 5 straight minutes of me attacking And one of them has taken 0 damage to this point. So I'm like, okay. So I switch up my weapons. I was like, okay, well, maybe I can, you know, take down the one a little faster. I'm trying other attacks that I have. So I'm still rolling, still grenading when I get a chance. I'm launching another attack at him. Okay, so now I've almost killed the one bird. That is grand. So I'm like, okay, if I take down the one, then maybe I have enough time with the other one to actually, take him down. So that's my theory here. I keep fighting the one bird. Oh, I killed the one bird. Awesome. So now it's just me and him. So I'm like, okay. So this is 100% me fighting just the one bird by himself now. His life is full. He's got this magma barrier going on. So I try switching up weapons. Okay. So I try that one. All right. He's lost his barrier. I'm like, okay, I'm going to make some progress here. He's jumping across the whole arena. And I'm like, okay. So we'll just keep going here. We're going to follow along. All right. So his health is still full. So I'm like, okay. So grenades doesn't do it. So now I've tried switching up. And I'm still running and dodging. Okay. So let's see here. All right. I knock him back. I'm like, all right, I stunned him. Maybe I can do something. But you notice his health bar is still completely full. Okay, so I'm like, all right. Well, let's keep trying. So, I'm grenading him. Okay, let's see. I'm using my rapid fire on him. Nope. Okay. So, if you watch, I scroll through every weapon that I have in my arsenal trying to take him down. I stunned him again, but his life is still full. So I don't know what his regen level is, but it's very high. I've broke his armor, but now his armor's back and his life is still full. So I continue to battle him for a long time. And I'm like, okay, I'm making no progress here, but I'm going to just keep trying. I'm like, there's got to be some type of balance. So I'm like, okay, I'll just, maybe there's some tactic I haven't tried yet. So I'm trying and I'm trying and I'm struggling, but I've stayed alive. So I'm not giving up. All right. Roll out of his eruption from his barrier. Okay. So let's see here. Still attacking him. And his life is full. I'm starting to get frustrated now. And I'm like, okay, so it's just him now. I don't have the secondary bird attacking me. He's a little bit slower, except when he jumps across the screen. So I was like, maybe I have an opportunity here. So, and still going. And sorry, guys, I left the map up. I was focused on trying to defeat him. So, still going. Okay, so I'm still alive. So I was like, all right, I'm running out of options here. I've tried all the techniques that I have. So I was like, okay, so maybe being in this small arena is the restriction. So you see me cycling through the different attacks that I have. Nothing seems to even slow him down. I can't even get a blip out of his health bar. So at some point, I run out of the arena here. Let's wait for it. Yeah. Still trying. Nearly kills me. Okay, so his barrier's gone. So I'm like, okay, let's try this. Nope. Rapid fire's not taking him down. Okay. And he's back up, barrier, full health. So I'm like, okay, so what options do I have here? And maybe this is balanced and I just don't get it. But it seems like it's not. So I'm like, okay, I think one more round around here. I go around, and then I end up leaving the arena, and he follows me out. So let's see. So, okay, now I've switched to my main attack, which does poison. And I'm like, okay, poison seems to actually do something. So I'm like excited at this point. I'm like, all right. So maybe I just need to poison the crap out of him. So I'm poisoning him. And his barrier's back, and he's back to full life. And I'm like, okay. So poison was the only thing I could find so far that seemed to work. So I'm like, okay, poison. All right. Maybe if I keep him poisoned. Oh, and he's back to full health again. Okay, so I go at it for quite a while. In fact, the entire battle is 16 minutes and 58 seconds. So almost 17 minutes. I'm fighting one guy. Okay, I knocked him back. Got poison on him. Throw some grenades. Okay, so I'm still trying with poison. Doesn't seem like it's working, but I'm like, okay, that actually seems to do something to it because I actually see a gap in his health. So I'm still trying. I'm attacking him with everything I got. Oh, he almost killed me there, but so I dodged away from it. And I'm like, okay, this isn't working. So I pick up the gear. I get a good opportunity here. And I'm going to leave this arena now and see if in a bigger, wider area instead of a small little arena, if I have a better opportunity. So here I roll out. He follows me. So I'm like, okay, let's try him out here. So I've still determined that poison seems to do the most. So I'm like trying my damnedest with poison. And I'm like, okay, so this is a bigger arena. Maybe I have more opportunity here. And the fact is, it's not the case at all. I'm like, okay, so in this bigger arena, I have less opportunity to actually take him down because he can, I keep trying. I'm like, okay, so this doesn't seem to be working either. So what do I do? Okay, so I'm still trying. And I'm like, all right. What do I do? So at this point, I'm like, okay, so maybe if I try something else here. So if you'll see, I even switched to my melee weapon as my backup to see if that does anything. And it doesn't seem to. See, right there. And nope. Barrier down. His life's still full. Okay. I've broken his armor right about here. And barrier's back and he's back to full life. So I've tried everything I have in my arsenal. So now I'm like, okay, do I just run away from him? And I'm like, well, okay, he's going to keep following me. So I'm like, well, let's stand behind this barrier and see if this works. Well, at this point, I realize that he can't hurt me when I'm behind that barrier. So I just start layering on grenades on him. And I'm like, okay, so maybe this will work. And so I spend, 4.48, so almost 5 straight minutes just right here, hiding behind the barrier, launching attacks. So I'm like, okay, grenade. Okay, well, he can't hurt me, and the grenades seem to be working. So he's down at a core. That's the lowest I've seen his health bar this whole time. And I'm like, okay, so this is it, right? So I'm still grenade, just straight launching at him. And his health is regenning as fast as I can take it down. So I've got him at a quarter, but it doesn't seem like it's making that much of a difference. So, and it's actually, I'm losing the battle here. He's regenning faster than I can take him down, blowing up 4 grenades with every throw that do lightning damage. And I'm like, okay, so just grenades is not enough. So I'm like, okay, I got to change tactics here. And I hate to do this where I'm using a broken mechanic where I'm hiding behind a wall to do any damage, but I've found no other way. So I'm like, okay, so I try launching a couple different attacks at him, but I can't shoot through the wall, it seems, with my rapid fire. Grenades is keeping him at like roughly 3/4, but it's not enough to actually take him down. So I've cycled through all of my different weapons here, and I decide, okay, there's only one other option. So I know that poison kind of worked on him. Grenades obviously is not enough. So eventually I switch over to poison and grenades. And I spend almost 3 minutes doing nothing but launching. There I am. I'm poisoning him and grenades. Poison, grenades. Poison, grenades. And I'm like, okay. Now, do you think that there's any opportunity that I could have done this if I had not hid behind a wall? Absolutely not. So, okay, I knocked him back. And poison, grenades. Poison, grenades. Poison, grenades. Okay, that's probably the lowest I've had his health so far. So I'm like, okay, I see the light at the end of the tunnel. So I just keep going with the same thing over and over. So poison, grenades. Poison, grenades. Poison, grenades. And let's see, I've got almost down to half life. And I'm like, I see the light at the end of the tunnel. This is going to work. And I keep at it. And if you, so keep going, keep going. Oh, now I'm below half. That's the first time I've ever seen that. And I've been at this for like 15 minutes almost at this point. So I'm like, okay, it's working. So standing behind my wall and poison grenades, poison grenades, poison grenades. And I'm still at it. Poison, poison, grenades, grenades, poison. Okay, I've almost got him down to 1/4 life, which is impressive. So, still at it. Okay. I know, guys, this takes a long time, but this is kind of showing you some of the unbalance that I've found. So, okay, I've almost got him down to 1/4. There he's at 1/4. I'm still poison and grenades, poison and grenades. Savage how long this took. Okay, still at it. All right, he's down to almost 1/4 life. So I'm like, all right, the end is in sight. And the fact that I have to keep spamming the same attacks while I'm hiding behind a wall to take down a mob seems unbalanced to me. Correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe, and if this is RNG and the stats they get, okay, that's it. So that took 16 minutes and 58 seconds because I had recorded it and I played back the video, and that's how long it took. So literally 2 seconds short of 17 minutes to take down one mob. If that's balance, I'm not sure what balanced is. So I believe that if this is the normal balance of this game, then some people like me, I found a way to succeed. It was difficult. It took me 17 minutes to do it, but I did succeed, and I kind of had to use a broken mechanic, I feel, like hiding behind a wall where he couldn't do damage to me. To take him out was not the way you should play, but I was motivated to try and succeed at any cost. And that's what it took. And after 17 minutes, if you look at what he dropped, nothing of great value. A little bit of gold, a couple orb of transmutation, and like crap. So 17 minutes for this. Did I feel good when I was done fighting him? I'm not so sure about that. I was relieved that it was over, but did I feel a great accomplishment? No, I had to use a broken mechanic in order to complete my mission, which was to succeed. So it really kind of made me frustrated that I just spent 17 minutes battling somebody. I didn't get anything good really out of it. And I had to, in my mind, kind of cheat in order to accomplish my mission. So that, as much as I love this game, that is not fun for me. That was a slog for very little reward other than, okay, I didn't die. And I didn't get any great thing out of it. And I just felt like, okay, so if everything in this level is supposed to be level 28, then they figure you're going to be within probably 5 levels either way of that when you try and accomplish this. And I am. I'm like, 4 levels above. And that was nearly impossible for me. If I hadn't have found the broken mechanic of hiding behind a wall where he couldn't damage me, where I could just spam him for like 6 straight minutes and finally kill him, I probably would have just ran away or died. And that is not a fun portion. Okay, so that aside, we covered that, so I want to end on a positive. So I believe that PoE 2 brings in a ton of non-PoE 1 players. That is a win. I still think this is the best ARPG of all time. No, hands down. No doubt. And also, like Zizarin said, the worst state PoE 2 will be in ever is right now. Because they're going to make changes, they're going to fix things. That's why we have an early access, so that they can figure out what's working and what's not and fix those. Hopefully, this is something that they can balance out a little bit. Or if this is their goal, to have an occasional mob that you run into that's unbeatable if you're anywhere near that level. Okay. If that's the way it's going to be, but I feel like that will chase a lot of people away. So, I score the game 7 out of 10 in its current condition, which is still very high. But I believe that by the time the game actually comes out, when it's out of early access, it'll be a 9 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10, and I have no doubt. Because I have faith in Grinder Gear games. Over the years that I've played, since 2011, I've been playing PoE 1. And I have found that when there's a problem, they attempt to fix it, and whether that works or doesn't work, then they will try again. They unceasingly attempt to keep this game in a very functional manner. So I have my faith in Grinding Gear games, no doubt. Things will be fixed. Things will be buffed. Some things will be nerfed. Some things will be balanced. And I'm thinking this will definitely be fixed. But I just wanted people to be aware that there are some unbalances in everything. But, this is early access, so that's to be expected. And as far as early access goes, this game is so complete in comparison to any other game I've ever played that was in early access that, it's amazing. So, well, that pretty much sums up what this video is about. So, if you agree or disagree or have other concepts that you want to share, please put them in the comments. And until next time, this is Cryman signing out from Sasquatch Gaming. Have a good day.